Welcome to another episode of Code for Thought. I'm Jacqueline Laird, the Communications Officer at the Software Sustainability Institute. On the podcast, I'll be speaking to some of our fellows about their research and plans for their fellowships. Today I'm speaking to 2022 SSI fellow, Connah Kendrick. Hi Connah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, okay, Jacqueline. I'm Connah Kendrick, as I said. I'm one of the lecturers at Manchester Metropolitan University. I lecture in computer programming, so teach the undergrad Java and the apprentice Javas. I do a bit of research, which is a bit of a mix and match of a couple of different things. One of them is work on medical imaging, so I'm helping host a workshop on diabetic foot ulcer segmentation. And the second one is involved with the fellowship, where I look into museum artefacts and the digitization of those museum artefacts.
Sounds really interesting. So could you tell us a bit more about your research and how the SSI fellowship is going to benefit that?
Yeah, so one of the current issues a lot of museums are facing at the moment is that they have a lot of museum specimens that they need to back up and they want to put them into a virtual cloud storage. The issue is that's where it's very difficult. So they have to scan objects individually at the moment, which is expensive, it's slow, it kind of puts a bit of a strain on museum curators, which is a shame because they already have a lot to do. So the plans for the fellowship is to organise a set of meetings and workshops where we can get all the interested parties, the researchers, the museum curators, and people at the public to come together and have open discussions about what we all actually want. Because what the researchers want is different to what the museum curators want. The researchers want certain aspects of data, they want very precise measurements. Museum curators, they require constant labelling. So when we say mass digitization, we want to scan a tray of objects. The museum curators need to know which objects in that tray is which objects, which the scanners cannot tell currently. So there's a bit of our issue, and we need to get everyone together in a room to understand each other's issues and why we're doing it the way we're doing it. And then from that, we can come together, we can set out a set of plans which will make sure we progress sustainably forward with everyone.
Have you started to use your fellowship already? How are you using the funding so far?
So far, the fellowship has been useful in giving some organisational information. They've actually been very great because they've provided me contact details with people in the museums that I currently didn't know or did, and some very prestigious awarded people that got me in contact with. I'm starting planning the first stage, so I'm going to organise a meeting with these people. We're all going to get together and outline the workshops thoroughly for everyone. That's currently where I'm up to.
You've made progress already then?
Yeah.
What do you see happening over the next year with your fellowship?
So the next year will become very rapid during the May time. So during the May time, we're going to have our first get-together with the major key players. So we're going to talk to the people across the road from me, the next, and we're going to get a couple of the museum curators in, and we're going to plan out what they'd like to get out of the workshops first. I've got my ideas of getting all together and progressing the plan, and then hopefully mid-summer we'll have our very first workshop, which will be open to everyone. We'll let everyone come in, and we'll have a couple of key talks hosted by the scanning team at Next, hosted by a couple of researchers at UOM and NEU, shout across in like Buckler on their work in mass digitization, and then we can set out a set of goals for the next workshop.
Great. So is that the public are coming on board at that stage?
Hopefully, anyone who has an interest in this will be joining. I'd like members of the public there. That would be very good. I'm very keen on getting museum curators there because the scanning team we spoke to and they're very motivated for. The research team is very motivated for. I don't want the museum creators to think we're just having to overwork world as well. I want them to understand that this is also something to help them and make their lives easier. I'm not going to give them extra work. I want to take work off them.
Yeah, definitely. So how did it come about that you applied for the fellowship? Did you see the need for this work and then you found the fellowship, or had you heard about it through other means?
So I started my work in this field with Charlotte Rossy. I work a lot in improving technologies, and Charlotte Rossy came up to me and asked, can we have a program that does some mass digitization? And I said yes. And as I've gone into this field, it's become more and more apparent about the need for this and why it's so important, especially when you look at the costing and the time involved for a single digital backup. I knew about the SSI before, which is quite a good thing. I know the supervisor and previous SSI fellow, and I am a repeat application. So I applied before this project and got rejected. But it was a very useful learning curve. They gave me some very good feedback, and I attended the SSI workshop conference, the collaborations workshop, which was a great opportunity and was very sort of, I expected it to be a bit more fixed. It was very tailored to a lot of different aspects, and we had a lot of different fields there. And you could go and find really useful, interesting things that affected a lot of different people. And it was very responsive community, gave excellent future work advice.
Do you have any advice for future fellowship applications, especially since you were a repeat applicant yourself?
Yeah. So one of the things is, especially in research, you're probably used to this, is to be open to critique. That's always a plus side. Don't get upset if you get rejected. Definitely attend the collaborations workshop. That's very useful for this. Not that you have to do it to get there. It's more you learn so much about what they're about and how the SSI roles as an organisation that helps you out. For me, the main bit was the focusing on the why I'm doing this. So start with the why, not what I'm going to do, it's why I'm going to do it. And then from that, the how will I do this and how do I measure this as a success? That was one of my big limitations. My first occupation was, I'll do this, and that's it. It was this time focused on why I'm doing this, how I'm going to measure this as a success in the end. And then the middle bit starts forming itself from that. So that was useful for me.
And following on from that, at the end of your fellowship, what will a success be? What will that look like to you?
So a success for me will be one, better communication between these different departments, because at the moment, it's only when people have the money to talk to each other we'll have like more long-standing communication between groups. You've seen groups start off and do their own work together as well. So they be willing to go off in teams and say, we're actually going to go and focus on this aspect now. And the new person, it'll be a set of guidelines that we need to work towards to make sure this is good for everyone. So we know what the researchers need in general, we know what the scanners need in general, and we know what the creators want in general, and how we can do it all in a cohesive way and make set of guidelines for that.
Brilliant. So you're going to be the glue that brings everyone together.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And then, is there anything you would like our listeners to do? If they've got any questions, they can get in touch with you.
So if they want to get in touch with me, you can email me at Connah.Kendrick@mu.ac.uk. I have a personal Twitter account at Connah Kendrick that you can contact me on. There will be a GitHub IO page, or just a web page where you can keep track of the research I'm doing and how to help out if you want to help out. I'm very keen, because it's quite collaborative and I'm on the research side, I'm very keen to have other people come in from departments, other aspects of research, and come in and say what they'd like to get from this, because it's a very community-driven project. So feel free to contact me if you've got.
Brilliant. Thanks for speaking to us. Best of luck with all of the research.
Thank you very much for having me on this, and thank you very much for all the support that SSI has been giving me so far. It's been amazing. A lot more information was given to me than I was expecting, but it's very useful.
If you've got any questions, you can get in touch with Connah at his email on Twitter. And if you have any comments on the podcast, you can use #CodeForThought. Thanks for listening.